Cool. Well, do you want to start talking about Peter's article?
Sure. I'm not a big Panzer Dragoon fan, but I can tell what I read about it.
You're not a Panzer Dragoon fan in general, or not a Saga?
I just haven't played Saga at all.
Oh, okay.
But technically, I played it for 5 seconds to make sure it loads and then turn it off.
Well,
Dave's like, I made a mistake bringing him on this podcast.
No, seriously, you need to play this game. I mean, okay, so like some folks won't fault you for not playing it because it's kind of divisive. As good of a game as it is, and I feel like it's a good game. There are some people who just don't care for it, and sometimes I wonder, like, is it bad by comparison? Are they comparing it to something, or are they just angry that it costs so much? Or
I don't know. It might be little things like that. Like I think people don't like that it's $1,200,
which is ridiculous. But I mean, come on, GameCube games are getting ridiculously crazy too. I mean, even was it like Kirby's Air Ride is like $300?
No, Kirby's Air Ride isn't $300.
It's not.
No.
Okay, which
maybe
one?
Sealed.
Okay. No,
You're
I'm
probably
not talking
thinking
about Sealed.
Cubivore.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking Cubivore, but are there GameCube games in general are getting crazy. I think all retro games are getting crazy.
Yeah, like I bought Cubivore for $250 like a year ago, and I was like, man, I feel like overpaid. Now it's up to like $500.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not Kirby's Air Ride. I'm probably thinking of something else. But anyway, those GameCube games are getting crazy. But anyway, yeah, it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much. But let's just not talk about how much this game costs. Okay, let's just talk about the game itself. Peter wrote a really deep article. If you guys want to get kind of emo, if you want to get a little deep with this, he really went into like the loss aspect of the game and like what it feels like to wander through these worlds that seem meticulously created, but at the same time evoke this feeling of loneliness, which I think it really did a good job of. It's funny how like a lot of these screenshots that he provided are like razor sharp. And a lot of the artwork actually doesn't look nearly as good as it does a little blurred on a CRT. That's like just a side note. But I was just noticing that today.
I'm looking at that picture of a Edge in there, and it looks like he has like a mask on. Like he's got like a mask of that face on.
Well, it's just like a lot. I realized that all of these assets were just intended to be on a CRT from day one, obviously. So it's like, looking at some of this stuff, razor sharp pixels, it just kind of looks wrong. But anyway, that's completely beside the point. When it comes to Panzer Dragoon Saga, you know, whether you like it or not, it definitely does something different in terms of RPGs. It definitely did something different for the Saturn. I mean, it was like a epic scale game. You didn't have a lot of those. I know Night of Dragon is a huge fan of Shining Force 3. And any of the Shining games.
Gave that away?
He's a big fan of Shining Force 3, and I personally so like I personally like Shining Force 3 better than Panzer Dragoon Saga. I think it's a better game, but that's just personally, okay. But I still love Panzer Dragoon Saga. I think it's a great game. I just it's just and maybe it was when folks played it or what they were doing at the time or how they felt. I feel like as a gamer or as a like a person who loves to watch films and stuff like that, when you watched it, what was happening in your life at the time has a lot to do with like the lasting effect a game has on you. And so for me, I kind of played it once earlier in the day, and I think at that time I was probably comparing it to things like Final Fantasy too much, and that's the thing, is I was just kind of comparing it to other things and I wasn't as impressed. But then later on, I went back and played this game before SHIRO, like right before forming the SHIRO podcast. I was playing this thing, and I don't know. At that time, it just hit me, and it was the right timing, I guess. And it was a really fun game, fun playthrough. Not that long of a RPG. So when you're comparing it to other games that are giving you like a 70-hour campaign, that is not this game. But it definitely is a world building game. That's what they're so good at. Team Andromeda, we're really good at just that world building aspect. Really did feel post-apocalyptic, but not in a cyberpunk kind of way, like in a true like post-apocalyptic, just there's nothing left, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I like about like the post-apocalyptic thing. Like it can go so many ways.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like cyberpunk or have to be like, you know, a Mad Max-esque. It could be a different things altogether.
Yeah.
And I definitely like this example of it. And I think the one thing I like the most about Peter's article is his story about, you know, looking out for the game and then like riding the bus to go pick it up and telling his friend that there was going to E3 to go get it for him.
Yeah, that's another thing. We can't do Peter's article justice, guys. Just from a talking points, you know, because we're kind of limited on time. But you guys really owe it to yourself. If you like this game, if you have any interest in Panzer Dragoon Saga, go check out Peter's article. It's like a 15-minute read or less if you're a fast reader, and it's good. It's worth it. Like, I love how Peter really goes into like that personal aspect of when he played a game, what he felt at the time, you know, details, and Peter's writing style is great. I really like it. I can't recommend it enough. One thing I really loved about this game, I think a lot of people agree, even those who aren't crazy about the game, is Kobayashi. The soundtrack is amazing. I often like to champion the Saturn's hardware, like its sound hardware, in terms of like chip tunes and stuff like that. But I will say that there are some points in this game where the music is kind of grating, like, you know, when you're in the city or something like that, and it's just very like organy, you know, like where it's just kind of like riding on a tonic or something like that, and it just kind of gets a little grating to me. There are obviously parts of the game where the music is, you know, sweeping and it's very orchestral, but then there are those times where it just kind of like grates on me. And I think that that's one of those things where I would have liked it better if it was full orchestral, but they didn't have enough room. I mean, as it is, it was a 4-disc game, and that's with chip tunes, you know? So it was like they probably couldn't fit that kind of information, that kind of like Red Book audio, in addition to... I mean, I guarantee that's why they went that route, is just so they could fit more information and graphics and stuff like that onto the discs. But yeah, any other thoughts on Panzer Dragoon? We're actually going to be talking about it again, Pat, because the Best of Saturn.
Do you just want to do the Best of Saturn next? That way we can just do it in one go.
Yeah, we can skip ahead. Why not? We're already talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Should folks go check out Panzer Dragoon Saga if they haven't yet, Pat? I'm asking somebody who has... No, you don't think that they should?
I'm just joking. Yeah, of course they should check it out. I think it's a great game from what I've seen of it.
You haven't played it. You haven't played it, Pat. You need to go play it.
I didn't say it looks good.
Okay, well, it does look good, but I really think you would enjoy it. And it's not that big of a time commitment.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those I'm going to pick up. I'm trying to finish up Final Fantasy VII Remake right now. It's pretty long.
Oh, yeah.
And the side quests are getting really annoying now, so I'm trying to figure all those out.
I didn't know you were playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay.
Yeah,
I know you just finished...
right at the end.
Yeah. You played Utena, right? You played... Wasn't that you? Peter played Utena. Did you play it too?
Yeah. I played a Sakura Wars on the PS4.
You played Sakura Wars. Okay. Yeah. So when you get done with Final Fantasy VII, put this, bump this to the top of your backlog and play it. It won't take you. You'll finish it in a week of just like small game sessions, I'm sure. It's not that big of a deal.
I definitely want to play this one. I want to play Yakuza 0.
Oh man, yeah. Yakuza 0 is that's a fantastic game, and it gets a lot of love from folks. Again, another great like story building and world building game. But I mean, for folks that are considering playing Panzer Dragoon Saga, I really would just say, you know, burn or rip or download a copy, put it on your ODE or on a disc or whatever. There are action replay codes that will allow you to boot it. You know, even though it has copy protection. There might even be an image out there with copy protection removed. I'm not sure. Time has gone by.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know.
I don't know. But it's worth... You
can search the 7 Seas for it, though.
It's worth trying. Yeah, the 7 Seas. Nice. No, I mean, it's definitely worth playing, and I know one of the biggest memories I have of this game was a more recent memory within the last few years, where Chaz, who was doing a lot of our game streaming at the time, did a live stream of this game in like 4 or 5 parts.
Yeah.
And he finished it off and 100% completed it live. Which, I mean, it's hard enough.
And that's all on our YouTube too.
It is on our YouTube, saved for posterity. So you can go check out. And if you want some hand holding, or you want to know how to 100% it yourself, there is a live playthrough on our YouTube You just scroll down a really long ways. You can find a live playthrough, 100% completion of Panzer Dragoon Saga. And Chaz is just like so elated at the end when he finally does it, you know? When it finally says 100%, you can walk among the gods or whatever. It's just crazy, like hearing him shout and get all excited. And I was excited with him because I just couldn't believe he did it. You can, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say maybe Pat could stream Panzer Dragoon Saga during the gameplay portion of the SHIRO show.
Say what now? Do what?
Like play Panzer Dragoon through the gameplay portion of the SHIRO show.
Yeah, we could. You get an hour. The thing is, there's a lot of FMV in the beginning, so you either have to like save after that to show some people some actual gameplay, because like if you only have like an hour to stream, unless you're gonna do like an extended stream, it'd be mostly FMV, and then you'd get like a little bit of gameplay. But yeah. Anyway, go check it out if you haven't already. I know Knight's not a big fan of the game. He said it was a snore fest. I don't agree, but that's okay. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, and I totally understand that there are reasons why. There are reasons extenuating beyond the game itself why people either like it or dislike it. But taken on its own merits, I think that it's a great game. And I think that it is worthy of the Panzer Dragoon name. Which is saying something. Yeah.